Hey guys, I'm back for another video, and today I am going to talk about the weather of Hytale. So a few blog posts ago, we got a nice little gif of a sandstorm raging on outside of this house, and it looked intense. You could see, of course, the sand and dust in the air. You could see the wind blowing on things, and it looked like it actually had an effect on the landscape instead of, Minecraft rain, where it's just kind of a graphical effect that's slapped on top. I think the weather, most specifically what we've seen so far, the sandstorms, are legit. But in this video, I would like to add on to this. I would like to give my thoughts on what other types of weather should be in Hytale and some other mechanics that would make the world more realistic. So let's get going. So I think in general, between all the different types of weather, there should be some lasting or semi-permanent effect that is left behind, even after the weather's ended. For example, simple things like maybe when it rains, that it leaves some puddles, right? And then it takes a day or two for the puddles to dry up, or maybe even a few hours, I don't know, depending how hot it gets afterwards, right? You would see something like concrete, right? If it just rained, the concrete's going to be a bit darker, and, because it absorbed water. And then as it dries up again, you would see the shade of the concrete get lighter. So instead of concrete, maybe you'd have like dirt or gravel or something in the Hytale world. Another thing that I've actually seen in Minecraft mod packs plenty of times is sand piling up after a sandstorm. So I played Forever Stranded back in the day, and it was a fun mod pack. And one thing that really made the immersion like 10 times better was the fact that after a sandstorm, it would actually pile sand up on one side of the shelter because that's the direction the wind was blowing. And it was just building up sand. It was honestly really funny. I think during weather, it would be cool if there were certain effects, like for example, if there's a heat wave, then your character might get thirsty faster, if thirst is a thing to begin with. Or if there'd be some other effects, like again during a heat wave, maybe it'd be easier for certain things to light on fire. Or if it was raining, then maybe electrical attacks would do more damage because electricity would travel through rainwater better. Of course, if there's particulates in the water, that makes it better because, just straight up H2O doesn't conduct electricity. Anyway, if you look in one of the scenes of the launch trailer, there's actually a volcano. So something like an eruption would be insane. Maybe a giant smoke cloud that covers the whole area, and then maybe even things would get cold over the next few days because it's blocking out the sun. Maybe you'd get some out-of-season snow. That would be crazy too. One thing that'd be really cool is high winds and like tornadoes and hurricanes. I don't know if something on the scale of a hurricane would really fit Hytale, but I think at least tornadoes and high winds at some point would be pretty neat. Just imagine like your door slamming open because of the wind, and then you look and it's just like pulling leaves off the trees and they're going flying and maybe even knocking people over. That happened in real life, by the way. I was, going to campus and some girl got knocked over by the wind, and it was honestly kind of funny. Anyway, Sleet and Hail would be cool, especially hail. Just imagine taking shelter inside, and then you just see these, like, snowball-sized chunks of ice just falling from the sky and, like, breaking through shelters and stuff. And then if you had a slingshot, right, you could just pick up one of the hail balls and just, like, shoot it at somebody as a weapon. Of course, thunder and lightning, I think that is already going to be in the game because it's such a basic, rain, thunder and lightning, basically any game that has any sort of weather would have rain, thunder and lightning. But, it'd be nice to have. I would say with that one specifically, the audio effects need to be legit. I can't tell you how excited I was when they added lightning to Minecraft, and even though there's only 2 or 3 sounds for lightning, it still was so cool. And of course, the shimmer goes away after a while, but maybe if there was like 10 to 15 different sounds for lightning, it would just, I don't know. And just some variety and just some intenseness to the sound, and it just would legit jump scare people. I think something like that would be cool too. Avalanches and mudslides would be interesting too. Just seeing a big mass of, I wouldn't say liquid, but it would look like liquid, just a mass of land like falling down from a mountain and just completely burying things in an instant would be really cool. And it'd be a big change in the terrain. Maybe there'd be a town and a mudslide would just completely like obliterate a house or maybe a sinkhole, right? Just imagine there being a scene where there's like a traveling merchant just kind of like walking by minding his own business, and then the ground just completely gets sucked out from under him and he falls in. As I said earlier, heat waves and droughts. So I can imagine the water level maybe going down, maybe streams would dry up over time, depending on like weather. Be pretty cool. And there's some other things too that are not, natural, that I think could be a thing that's weather related. So for example, pollution and smog. I know there's not a lot of industrialness going on in the Hytale world, so maybe this one will be reserved for the modders to do, but it would be kind of cool. And wildfires would be interesting as well. Just imagine, someone makes a campfire out in the middle of the woods and it's really dry during a drought, and it just erupts this whole forest in flames. It could provide the spark, quite literally, for an interesting quest line. Maybe you have to save someone from the flames, or evacuate a town, or something like that. We've also seen that corruption's going to be in this game, and I hope it works similar to Blightfall, in the sense where you can get infected, and there are things that are infected that are hostile, and just the ground itself can become infected, and it just looks all... it's even purple, too. The Blightfall similarities are, a thing. If anyone hasn't played Blightfall, I would suggest you do it. It's a great time. It's a big challenge. Everything is hostile. It's honestly really cool. Well, anyway, those are my thoughts on weather, guys. I guarantee at least half of this stuff is already going to be in the game, but I wanted to put my thoughts out there anyway, regarding things like, for example, like lightning doing more damage during a thunderstorm. So maybe using magic, you would have some sort of electrical spell, and it would do more damage. But little features like that, just things that instead of being a layer slapped on top of the world, that weather would actually change the stakes quite a bit, that even core gameplay mechanics will work slightly differently. Maybe you'd slip as you're running in the rain. Just little tiny things like that, little details would make it so much more immersive and a whole lot cooler. Well, anyway, if you'd like to continue the Hytale discussion, then make sure to follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment down below, twitter.com/ThirtyVirus. Well, anyway, that is it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.